Hello, my fellow Cowboys fans, and welcome to this edition of Cowboys Imperial Report. I am the Emperor Marcus Aurelius Maximus. And once again, no time for commercials, so cut the music here. We have a lot of things to talk about on this edition of Cowboys Imperial Report. I'd love to talk football, but unfortunately, Ed Weirdo of BSPN wrote this is yellow journalism at its worst. And we got to talk about this instead of football, but it didn't dominate my entire show because I was able to get in 2 interviews with people before all this happened. So let's go to the first interview that I have right here on Cowboys Imperial Report, which is my interview with BigD88 about the Giants. BigD88, I'm glad to have you here on Cowboys Imperial Report because you live there in upstate New York. You're able to give me that perspective of what the Giants fans are feeling. So tell me, how are they feeling about this game coming off of that loss to the Philadelphia Eagles? What are the Giants fans feeling up there, Big D?
Well, basically the way they see it is, the Giants are way too good of a team to lose 2 in a row. They think that after the loss from Philly, they're going to be motivated, they're going to be ticked off, and then take it out on the Cowboys and basically pound us into submission.
Okay, Big D, tell me, who has to step up this week, the offense or the defense? The offense has everyone there, unlike the defense, who has a bunch of guys injured like Davis and Hamlin. So who's got to step up?
Well, I think the offense is still going to have to do the most to win this game. As far as our defense goes, the Giants, they really don't have that many weapons outside of their running game. Their receivers, Newman and Scandrick and Jenkins, we still have 3 very good corners. We can contain their receivers, and as long as our front 7 is able to hold down that running game with or without Jacobs, then it's up to the offense to put up the points that they weren't able to put up, last meeting because of Brad Johnson not even close to Romo skill levels. So I'm still confident the defense can hold strong, and Davis is a tough guy. I think he's going to play through it. As long as the offense does their job, the defense, ever since Wade started calling the plays, our defense has been fantastic.
If we lose this game, not only will our playoff chances be over, but will this be the end of the Tony Romo era?
No, not at all. Romo's still our quarterback for the next at least 3 or 4 years. Playoff chances will take a big hit, but we're still not out of it, statistically speaking. I mean, it's a big blow, but if we can win the next 2, maybe with some help, we can still get in a wild card.
All right, Big D, tell me, man, what's your prediction?
All right, I'm saying with Romo back and, all the controversy surrounding T.O. and Witten and, all those guys, I'm saying the offense still pulls through. Romo does his thing in the Meadowlands. I'm saying 28-23 Cowboys.
BigD88, thank you for being on Cowboys Imperial Report.
All right, take care.
Now, this website here that I hang out at, I had a trivia question, and the prize was you got to talk for 2 minutes about whatever you wanted, an editorial piece. And Coach, you remember, who I did for the Cowboys Imperial Report, the Redskins, the rematch, he won the prize. He got his 2 minutes. Here's 2 minutes of Coach.
So do the Cowboys have the December slide curse, or is it somewhat an overblown hoax? I'm going to go back 5 years and take a closer look. Starting in 2003, the Cowboys went 2-2 in December and ended up 10-6. So it seems like we did have some sort of slide since 2 of the 6 losses came in December, and that only leaves 4 losses in the other 3 quarters of the season. In 2004, the Cowboys went 2-2 in December and ended up 6-10. So it seems like we did not have some sort of slide since 2 of the 6 wins came in December, and that only leaves 4 wins in the other 3 quarters of the season. In fact, this is the exact opposite of a slide. In 2005, the Cowboys went 2-2 again in December and ended up 9-7. So it could be said that we did have some sort of slide since 2 of the 7 losses came in December. But for almost a 500 season, going 500 in December isn't exactly a slide. In 2006, the Cowboys went 2-3 in December and ended up 9-7. So it could easily be said again that we did have a slide since 3 of the 7 losses came in December, and that only leaves 4 of the losses in the other 3 quarters of the season. But there was 1 extra week on the schedule in December this time. So an almost 500 record in the month to go along with an almost 500 overall record is a close call. last year in 2007, the Cowboys went 2-2 again in December and ended up with 13-3. So it could be said again that we did have a slide since 2 of the 3 losses came in December. And that only leaves one loss for the rest of the season. At least one of those losses was against the Skins in a game that didn't affect our overall record. And the Cowboys didn't play their starters for much more than a half. So overall in December, the Cowboys went 10-11 over the last 5 years with a win percentage of almost 48%, with the rest of the seasons at 37-22, with a win percentage of almost 63%. So is there a slide? Yes. But 10-11 is almost 500 ball. Is it overblown? Again, I say yes, but you got to take that with a grain of salt. This has been Coach.
All right, now that we are done talking football, now we can talk goofball. As you well know, yesterday, Ed Weirdo of BSPN, you may know him as Ed Werder, the redheaded guy with the mustache who, if I were casting a movie, I would cast him as the stepfather that you knew was mean to your mother and stole the money out of your piggy bank and grounded you for no reason because he hated you, because you were what stood in between his wife, who was your mother. You stood in between that. I would cast him as the evil stepfather if I would ever shoot a movie. That's what Ed Weirder looks like. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on. Is this really a lie? I mean, what's going on? Well, let's think about it. All season, since that Washington loss in Texas Stadium, Terrell Owens has humiliated the carrot top, the ginger there, called Ed Weirdo, by skipping over him when he asks him a question. Ed Weirdo, with a microphone to stick in T.O.'s face, will ask him, "What do you think about this?" And T.O. will say, "Next question." And then no matter what the question is, he will not answer Ed Weirdo. So you tell me, what's the motivation for Ed Weirdo to get back at T.O.? Is there any motivation at all? Yes, there is. Of course there's a motivation, because he wants to make T.O. look bad for not answering his questions. T.O.'s smart. He realizes if I even say one word to those idiots, they'll misconstrue everything. You remember what they did after the Cincinnati game when T.O. was crying after the touchdown or whatever? They asked, "Oh, what's wrong with T.O.? He's bipolar, he's a this, he's a that." He was crying over a family member that passed away. The Devils at BSPN. The Devils! They are the devil! They are the devil! And one of the chief red costume sporters is this guy, Ed Weirdo, that wrote this article. Now, what's disgusting about this article is Cowboys fans, the same Cowboys fans who despise BSPN, the same Cowboys fans who call it BSPN, the same Cowboys fans that make up a logo of a dog urinating on the logo of BSPN, believe this. It's astounding to me. It's astounding to me what people will believe. Now, Ed Weirdo, aside from the motivations of T.O., don't think this guy is 100% accurate. Let's go back to 2007, Week 2. Giants are facing the the Green Bay Packers, and Ed Weirdo was reporting that Eli Manning would be out with a shoulder injury that he sustained in Dallas. He'd be out with it for 4 weeks. Eli played that game, just so you know. Another thing, Ed Weirdo, once he did the one about after the Washington game of Tony and T.O. having a serious talk about the offense, which prompted T.O. to never answer the Ginger's questions ever again. The Ginger who should be taken out and his legs broken for writing lies like this. How he gets away with this, I don't know. The same Ed Weirdo that, if you don't know, got into a fight with one of the beat reporters for DallasCowboys.com, Nick Eatman. He got into a fight with Nick Eatman. The same Ed Weirdo that reported that DeMarcus Ware was not going to play against the Steelers. Don't you people know who writes this garbage? It's trash. It's absolute trash. And people, Cowboys fans, who denounce BSPN, believe it. is shocking. T.O., let me tell you something. I'm on your side in this. I'm on your side, no matter what. Because you sport that blue star. I'd believe you over a ginger that works at BSPN. I'll believe it 100% over you. I'll believe you 100%. I'll never take the side of BSPN. Never in 1,000 years. Never. What they have done to our organization, even before you got there. I'll never believe them. I'll always believe you. T.O. God save the Cowboys.